So today, Trey is 9 years old, about 2 months ago. He is going to do the straw raking. We combined the rye field over the weekend. We want to turn over with the rake all the rye so it's nice and dry before we bale it. Get it in the nice rows. This is the first time we're having straw from our own farm put up into our loft. So my husband watches another guy called Farming, Fixing, and Fabricating. And Andy's got a son, Andrew Jr., who is 8 years old. And they watch it together, and this guy's just chomping at the bit that he just wants to not ride along or have Dad ride along. He wants to do it on his own. So the 620 is nice and slow. The clutch is easy for him to use, where the 70, the clutch is brand new. It's a little harder for him getting it to engage. So he wanted to run the 620. I'm gonna head up over there and I'm gonna disc. Dad's gonna walk alongside him so they can get this all done up. But you can see with this rake, he can do it at a nice slow speed. They had a lot of thistle and weeds growing up at the front where the rye didn't do well, so he already disked up there, and that's keeping Trey away from the power line guide wires. So he's got this big open field. The waterway's straight ahead, so he's got plenty of area for turning around, and he's most used to this tractor. He always looks over my shoulder while I'm editing these videos and likes to watch himself. And it's nice to see the young kids coming up in a generation where they want to do this and be involved. And he's been being involved since he was 2. So if we hadn't had any rye in here at all, this would be mare's tail and weeds and thistles like crazy. We've got a little bit of alfalfa and clover growing in here, and different orchard grasses from hay, from spreading our manure in here. So you can see there's a lot of green. In this section here is mostly weed, but further up in there, we've got just an absolute hay cover crop going from about half the field all the way to the woods and up into this area. And we were spreading that manure to help amend the soil. We've done that for years. And because it was such a wet season, this was a good route to have taken. Yeah, it's nice and slow for him. See, that's why I thought like the 40 would be good, but without power steering it's too much, because that's a big tractor for him to be dealing with. I am so proud of him. So is he running over, like straddling the row, and it pushes it all over?
Right. Where it gets good, we're in the worst part of the field. Where it gets real good, the combine threw it a little bit wider than the pickup on the baler can handle, just maybe a foot on each side. So we're going to rake it, and anything that got clipped off, for instance, see how these got clipped off by the combine?
Yeah.
Well, that made that straw feel a little wet. There's not very much of it, and there's hardly any over there, but that material's all wet, so now I've had 2 days to sit here. Now he's going to he's flipping it over, get it up in the sun, and then it'll just keep out of the straw. It won't even be green anymore.
And then what will we do? Plow?
We're going to plow this and seed it to alfalfa. There was rye all the way out to the road, but it wasn't even worth running the combine through, so I just it down.
Now, with the hay fields over there, did we plow them? Because we don't have hardly any weeds.
Yeah, I found it.
I don't remember you plowing.
Wow, it doesn't stay on that one very well. Kind of rough anyway.
Yeah, your rate's bouncing all over the place. Don't let Bethy walk through here. He'll scratch up her legs. The thing I like about Trey learning how to do this on his dad's equipment like this, instead of waiting until he's older, he's learning how to run this older equipment and appreciate it and use it, instead of just sitting in an air-conditioned cab and using auto steer. I had never even heard of such a thing until this last year when I was watching somebody else teach their wife how to drive it. So this guy's gaining some real world, real life experience. If he takes over this farm, he'll remember doing this on this equipment and have that tractor still when he's an old man. Yeah. So you got something you got to tighten up in the throttle.
There's a little spring on the side behind the base of the throttle. When they get worn out, they just want the throttle return spring actually just springs the handle back all the time. You'll see on that 70, a guy made a homemade piece of steel behind it.
Yeah.
It's like a spring. So wherever you put it, that's pushing because he couldn't get into there. And
Oh.
It's repairable. But that's fine.
Yeah.
He wouldn't need it.
Well, I noticed when it was coming up that this area up here looked really weedy. And when I made my video, I was back there by the bees and it was absolutely thick, but then there was like an area where it might be more like this.
Every place there was better on a tough clay.
Yeah.
We had so much rain, it didn't like it. So right up through here where we've been spreading manure hard, this is kind of a higher, sandier area. You look over in here, how much straw you can see.
Yeah.
That was really, really good rye.
Well, we really fixed that area for years.
That hopper, just from this 20 acres, that hopper right there, see all the tarps all mounded up?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Did you do that when you were testing it? You said it was wet. Yeah, right there.
This is ragweed.
Yeah.
A lot of ragweed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want it to be strong.
Uh-huh.
Wet. We just thought, well, we'll wait. Rake it, make it narrow.
Yeah. thistles than we did the rye. So we're just disking that down as a cover crop. This was all intended to be a cover crop. We had just decided to go ahead and harvest it. My father-in-law kind of looked it over and he said, you know, this is really good grain. It did really well for the most part of this field. On the south side of the house where I had disced a couple of weeks ago, it did very poorly. It's a real low field and very wet. So there's been a lot going on here. I'm just coming up to the bee yard right now. When he's done raking, they're going to go ahead and bale that straw. So we'll be putting that up in the loft this evening. This is nice for me for a change up to get into doing this work. The boys are plenty old enough that they can watch each other and watch Bethany. Jack's 13 and started babysitting when I was like 12. It's a little different when it's your family. You've already been doing it their whole life. So they've had their breakfast, they've had all their morning time, their schooling's taken care of. I'm so proud of Trey for being up there, wanting to do this on his own. So I'm going to be heading downhill here, and I think it's best if I have two hands, but I'll show you a good shot up here at the top of the hill. So here I am up at the top of the hill. This is about midpoint through the field. The waterway is actually a little more than halfway. So I'm going to be disking all this section here down where he left and all up in here. And this area here is super rocky, and you can see there's not a whole lot of rye. It's a lot of weeds. The point of disking it down is we're going to plow it before planting the rest of it to hay. And that plow won't crimp down and kill these weeds. So the point is just to kill as many weeds as we possibly can so that all this will get put down and under. And that'll just work as fertilizer to help restore the ground. We're going to be restoring that soil by putting this green organic material back down into it. Trey's about finishing up his hay raking job. I thought he was on his last row, but it looked like he got 1 or 2 more sitting there, so he's going to be coming back to have some lunch here in a bit. His dad took over the tractor I was running, and he's been working on baling the straw. He switched his schedule today so that he's going to haul fuel to the farmers during the night and stay home and do our own farm during the day. We got a 40% chance of rain tomorrow, so all this straw has got to get baled and put up in the loft. And what doesn't go in the loft, he can leave 100 bales on the stack wagon and pull it right into the garage and close the door, and it's perfectly safe and dry. The entire neighborhood is out baling their straw. We're probably a week behind from most people, but because we have the advantage of a smaller home farm, we're able to go right outside of your door and not have to drive for a few miles with equipment. It's definitely very beneficial to us. So let me know in the comments below how many bales of straw you think we'll all get. It's very thin in this beginning part where the soil was very clay and very full of weeds, and much, much better as it went on up there where Trey's at now. And I'll let you know in the description how many bales I got. This guy is on his last row, and I can tell he is tired. He's just not even holding his head up, and he is going slow. Looks like he's got some straw kind of bound up. I'm shoveling manure in the barn while they're finishing. Dad called me on the phone to say he needs some baling twine. So as usual, we got it on hand. I'll tell ya, if you're the non-equipment runner at your farm, to pay attention when you buy the baling twine, because he has sent me many times, and this 9,000 feet is what the square baler takes, and it's a BT 130. It's like 14,000, I think, for a round baler, so you got to pay attention to that and not just pick up the first box that you see. This is what we pick up at the local Tractor Supply. I don't even remember what it costs per box, but the farmers around here, they're doing wheat straw. Occasionally there's oat straw. For us, we're doing rye straw. And then there's the whole hay season too. So you got to make sure you're not just buying 1 or 2 boxes to get by. Get what you're going to need for the whole season, because sometimes when they run out, you know, you don't know if a company's having a changeover or a layoff. You got to have on hand what you're going to need. It's just like those hay rake teeth. I kind of felt bad buying all 30 of them from that store, but Trey ended up replacing all 30 teeth at that one time, and he still had about 6 more that he wanted to change that were cracked. And they haven't gotten a resupply now, and it's been over a month. So we've got about 3 other Tractor Supplies by us, and with working and doing other things in life, like my house renovation, I haven't been getting by the other Tractor Supplies to run in to go pick up a few teeth for him to finish his job. But you can see his hay raking job's done pretty good, even with a few bad teeth here and there. I'm sure he's probably lost a couple in this heavy stuff because there's tough ragweed in there, and he said that's why he wanted to rake it over. So he had waited 2 days on that because that moisture and that ragweed was making it really stick and not wanting to go through and get turned over real good. So he said instead of having the moisture from that in the bales, better to let that dry out. All right, we are back at it today. We had a busy day yesterday. Lots and lots of farm work going on. We brought up about 240 bales, I think, so far of straw. We had decided we had better quit so that we wouldn't be up too late. As it was, we were already way past dark, putting up all of the straw bales in the loft. There was a chance of a rain at like 3 in the morning, and sure enough, it did come through. So we had to let this dry out the rest of the way today. It's mid-afternoon now, and he is getting the baling done so that we can get the rest of these up in the loft. Yeah.
Top of the doubles. Yeah?
Yep.
Being on top of them. Know what you're doing.
I'm being on top of the doubles.
Yep.
These are our big ships of fuel reserves. And we're using our pump to transfer the fuel from one tanker to these tankers, and I got this out of my pocket because of this. I've got 3 little guys over there climbing the straw bales, and I think they're cute. They're building a straw fort. Murdoch's over there somewhere. Little do they know, all that's going to get put up in the loft in just a little bit. See that? It's all waiting to go up. So today is the last day for picking up straw. We have been putting straw up in the loft in the barn. This has been a several day project going on here, and he's out there with the New Holland stack wagon getting the last of it all picked up. Now the really big work begins. The 620 doesn't have hydraulics on it, so we're using the 70 with the hydraulics on the hay elevator. It's so much safer than the PTO driven elevator, and we just pulled that out and parked it last year. We're not using it now. Well, everybody, that is it for putting up straw. Total, we got about 630 bales. There's about maybe 8 or 9 bales that broke where they were coming up the elevator and the strings broke, or they just got, kind of tight. They start to curl, and sometimes they just break, or they're not baled quite right. So we can run them back through the baler and put them up here. I figured it would be just easier to throw them in the back of the Dodge, stack it up in a pile over by the pigs. I've been giving them about a bale each per pen every week, just to use as bedding because it had been so wet for a while. It's finally dry enough that they're not really needing it. It's just extra nice and soft for them to lay down on. So we are at the point right now for capacity that we were with hay in this loft. So you can see this is the beam right here behind me that supports the lower frame before it meets the roof. So we'll be starting out packing this barn with straw in the upper level, and the other side where the pigs were, there's nothing stacked up on that side. You can see I can still lift the hay elevator some to get them up into here. So generally what we do is just start another layer going around the edges, filling it in the center, and putting it wherever we need. I actually am looking into right now a Hayrite electric elevator so that this can just be used primarily for this side of the barn or the long barn. It's really hard to get it right where we want on the short side, just because it's not a real wide loft for feeding it into. So, it's really hard to say, yeah, I'm going to spend that money when hay sells for, anywhere from $5 to $8 a bale, and straw sells for $2 to $5 a bale. But as far as trying to put it up by hand, that is a lot of work, and it is a body saver in the end. So that's one of the next things I'm looking into. That's it for the straw, everybody. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.